What's going on, guys? John Elder here from Codemy.com, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to create second windows for our apps with PyQt 5 and Python. Alright guys, like I said, in this video, we're going to look at creating second windows. But before we get started, if you like this video and want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com, where I have dozens of courses with hundreds of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube1 to get $30 off membership with all my courses, videos, and books for one-time fee at just $49, which is insanely cheap. Okay, like I said, in this video, we're gonna start to learn about creating second windows. So we've got our main window here, we click the button, boom, another one pops up. How do we do that? So there are a ton of different ways to do this. We're gonna start out with sort of the easiest one and work our way forward and see how it goes. So I'll be using the Sublime Text Editor and the Git Bash terminal as always. And as always, you can find a link to the code in the pinned comment section below, as well as a link to the playlist with all the other PyQt 5 videos in this series. So check that out if you haven't already. So, okay, I'm in my C PyQt 5 directory. I've got my virtual environment turned on, and let's just start the designer. So when we do, we see the regular screen and we want a main window like usual. So let's go ahead and create that. And let me just sort of play around with this for a second and resize some stuff. So basically we just need a button. So let's come down here and grab a button. And just for fun, we can kind of make it a little bigger, kind of put it in the middle of the screen if we want. Come over here and let's make the text bigger. That looks good. And then let's say open window. Okay, so this is really all we need. So let's go ahead and save this. So let's go File, Save As. And we want to be in our PyQt 5 directory. I'm just going to call this window 1. Okay, so now you can do this manually. You can open up other windows manually, but then you have to write the code for everything in the window. And as you've seen in past videos, the designer spits out a lot of code and we don't want to recreate that by hand. So what we could just do is come in here and click New and create another main window. And you can see, boom, it pops right up here. So you may or may not have known you could do that, but you can have as many windows in here as you want. So let's make this one a little skinnier. Let's grab a label and pull it over here. And let's come down here and have the text say second window. Woohoo! Right? And I'm going to come up here and just make the font a little bigger just for fun. Let's think 28. Second window. All right. Whatever. So one thing we need to do before we actually save this is change the name of this thing. So if we come up here and click on our Q window thing here, we can come up here and we can see the object name is main window. If we click on this one and do the same thing, we can see its object name is also main window. So we need these to be different named because we're going to call one and it can't be the same name as the other one, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one, and instead of main window, I'm going to call this second window. Hit enter. Okay, so that looks good. So let's come up here and save that. Now, this is a little confusing. When you hit save as here, it's only going to save the thing that's highlighted. So right now this one is highlighted. If we click this one would be highlighted. We don't want to save it. We've already saved that one. We want to save this second one. So I'm going to click on it, and that just isn't quite right. There we go. I don't know, whatever. So I'm going to click on it, come up here, File, Save As, and we're in our PyQt 5, and I'm going to call this window 2, I guess. And you can see right here now it says window 2. This one says window 1. So for good measure, let's do one more, and you'll see why in just a second. Instead of a main window, let's do a dialog without buttons. So go ahead and create that. A dialog box is basically the same thing as a window, but this one won't have buttons at the top. You can see like the minimize and the maximize. It shows it now, but once we save it, it won't be on there. So this is just a dialog box without the stuff on the top, right? And you could play around with this and take the toolbar off and do all kinds of things, but this is fine for now. Let's just grab a label and let's just come down here and make the size bigger. And then let's come down here. Oops. And call this dialog box. And let's just make this a little bigger. Okay, good enough. So now I'm going to come up here and File, Save As. We'll call this one window 3. Okay, so we've got these 3 UI files. We need to convert each of them into a Python file. So a little tedious, but not too bad. We'll head back over here and let's go PyUIC window5-x. And the first one is window1.ui. We want a -o to output that. And let's call this one window1.py. And I'm just going to push the up arrow key on my button and it does this thing again. And I'm just going to go like this to make this easier. So window 2. And we'll do it again for window 3. Okay, so now let's go Python window1.py just to run that to make sure. And okay, it opens up. We've got a button. It doesn't do anything yet, but we're good to go. So now let's open up these files in Sublime Text. So let's come over here and let's go File, Open. We want to be in our PyQt5 directory. So let's find that. And let's just go window1.py. Okay, so I'm going to open up the other two. So let's go File, Open File. And this is window2.py. And then let's go File, Open File, and then window3.py. So we've got all three of these files. And let me get rid of this stuff that always bugs me. Okay, so now what do we do? Well, inside of here, we need to create a function that we can call whenever we press the button that opens the other window. So let's just do it right up here at the top because I'm lazy and I don't feel like scrolling down. So let's go open window, something like that. Call it anything you want, but we're going to open a window here. So hey, it kind of makes sense to name it open window. And here, let's define a window. So self.window equals, and we need to know what we're opening. So if we come down here to this guy and go down to the bottom, we can see it's a qtwidgets.qmain window. So I'm just going to copy that and bring it back over here and do it like that. So that sort of defines that. Now we need to define the UI. So self.ui and set this equal to, and then come back over to the second window again and come up here and we need to call this class. And remember, this is called second window. Well, let me just paste that in there first, like that. Remember, it's called second window because in the designer, when we clicked on this and came up here to, let's see, this, we named it second window right here. So it's UI underscore second window, right? But it doesn't really matter. We're just going to copy whatever it says here as the class name, right? But that's why it's named what it is. So, okay, the UI is second window. Now we need to go self.ui. And then let's come back over here again. And inside of here, we need to call this guy, right? Because this has all the stuff that we want to use, right? It defines what's in the window, right? So we go setup.ui. Now inside of here, we need to pass the actual window itself, which is this guy. But instead of passing that, we're just going to pass in self.window because it's already defined and it's a little cleaner that way. So, okay, that looks good. Now finally, we have to show this thing. So we go self.window.show, just like that. So, okay, we're almost done. Now, in order to use all this stuff, we have to import it into our file. So up here at the top, we can go from, now we name this thing window2.py, but you just go window 2. So from window 2, we want to import whatever we name this class. So that's this guy right here. So, oops, there we go. Okay, so I think that's good. Now the only thing we have to do is call this function whenever we click the button. So